Hello there everyone, my name is Kirsten. So today is the first week of June, which means that today is another monthly favorites video again. So May has come and gone so quickly, so fast, and I just thought I would gather some ideas of what I did for this month and things I've been loving for the past month and so on. So you pretty much get it. So before I completely begin into this video, if you guys are new to this channel and if you haven't done so already, please do consider subscribing to my channel with notifications on. I upload brand new videos every single Friday. So without further ado, I am gonna go ahead and get started into some of my favorites for the month of May. So to begin with the movies and TV shows, for this month I only had a chance to watch like a few handful of movies and TV shows. So I had a chance to watch 2 animes, 2 movies, and 1 TV show. So to begin with some of the movies that I had a chance to watch, I had a chance to watch Cirque du Freak's Vampire Assistant. The funny thing is I've never read the books, but I have finally got to have a chance to watch one of the movies for a change, which is pretty interesting. Interestingly enough, I wanted to read the books, but never got around time to do it for some weird reason. So I actually thought it was a really good, enjoyable movie to watch. It definitely kind of reminds me of like a typical teenager fantasy type of movies, but which is something I don't hardly get into too much, but I just thought it was very enjoyable to watch. So the second movie I had a chance to watch is more of a documentary, and I thought this was a very insightful film that I had a chance to watch. I'm sure some of you guys have heard of this documentary before, and basically this critically acclaimed documentary is known as What the Health. For those of you that don't know what the Health documentary is, it doesn't necessarily talk about veganism per se, it just mostly talks about like the dangers of your health if you eat more animal products and somewhat of an impact it has on people's health in general if people continue to eat these animal products. It was a very insightful documentary for myself to watch. And as a matter of fact, after watching that documentary, I never had a chance to particularly look at food the same way again. I haven't eaten animal protein stuff in a very long time. I want to say it must have been like about 2, maybe 3 years ago since I last ate meat. Like even though I was a vegetarian, I never was vegan until just recently actually. So you could say like just vegan channels generally, as well as that What the Health documentary, that kind of inspired me to go vegan and have a more healthier lifestyle per se. And so far I feel really great, but we're not talking about veganism, we're just talking about just that documentary generally. And that definitely left me thinking about like food generally. It gave me a different perspective on it for sure. Well, I highly recommend for you guys to watch it if you haven't had a chance to do so already. I'll probably talk about my whole veganism journey sometime in the near future, but for now this is just me talking about the documentary. This isn't me like preaching you about like stuff. So I had a chance to watch 2 animes obviously. So the first anime I had a chance to watch is known as I'm looking down at my phone real quick to see how you pronounce it. But basically it's Kekigurai or something like that. I'm terribly sorry if I'm butchering that title of that anime whatsoever, but basically it's like about a young girl who transferred into like a sort of academy for people that go to school to basically learn how to gamble. And what's interesting about it is that it's very twisted and a bit weird in its own unique way. I definitely got a lot of enjoyment out of watching that anime altogether. So if it is something you enjoy watching, I highly recommend that you guys go ahead and check it out. The other anime I had a chance to watch was definitely a couple of them I have watched before. It is from the Fate series, and this one in particular is known as Fate Hypocrisy or something like that. Again, I'm butchering that last one towards the end, but basically it's like the continuation of the Fate series. It is honestly really good, and I highly recommend that you guys check it out because it reminds me of Final Fantasy in a way, so if you guys are into that kind of stuff, definitely check it out. Final thing I had a chance to watch, but most definitely not least, it is known to be the Lizzie Borden Chronicles, and if you guys have watched my monthly favorites video from, I want to say about a couple months ago, I watched a movie known as Lizzie Borden Took an Axe, and basically this was like the continuation of that, only it is more in a TV show form where they play like different episodes. So I thought this was very interesting because there was parts of me that kind of reminds me of like, it's like Peaky Blinders meets Penny Dreadful. I just thought it was really interesting to watch. So those were pretty much all the things I had a chance to watch this month. They were all very interesting to watch, and I highly recommend that you go ahead and check them out for yourself. So for the video games, I had a chance to play at least one video game this month, and if you guys have not watched my monthly favorites from last year, I beat a game called Bloodborne, and surprisingly, you guessed it, I decided to go out of my way to replay this game altogether. My little cousin convinced me to play this game, and I have been reliving this game altogether. So when I first had a chance to play this game, obviously this game is relatively similar to Dark Souls, only the storyline is a little bit different. Not so much different compared to the Dark Souls series, but this game and the Dark Souls series has its similarities, and I randomly questioned out loud in my last year's monthly favorites video when I discussed about beating this game last year. I mentioned, I often questioned if this was kind of like a spin-off to the Dark Souls series is what I thought of at the top of my head, but this game, especially with Dark Souls, you get so frustrated at certain times because of all these creatures you're trying to fight off in the game in order to level up, and the bosses that you have to beat in this game can be a complete pain in the ass as well. So it definitely has a lot of similarities, that's for sure. If you enjoy like dark, morbid type of video games, then this is definitely something for you. I highly recommend this if you also get into Dark Souls. Not much else I can explain about this game. It's just really fun. I was playing this game for quite a while, all the way up until I think my uncle came home, and then I didn't have enough more time to beat the game actually, because there was like other stuff that I'm still, you know, working on in this house, and especially like my room and this office and all this other stuff. And obviously, as you can tell from the background, I got some of my stuff almost set up completely. So that's pretty awesome to hear, I would say. But enough of that rambling. Let's move on to something else now, shall we? So there was quite a variety of foods that I had a chance to try out this month. This month I haven't had a chance to try out very much, simply because I'm in the middle of a Whole Foods plant-based vegan diet, but there was a few things I had a chance to try out before I had a chance to do that. So the first thing I want to discuss that I actually tried out that I thought was really interesting, and it's something I never tried before, but it is by Sweet Earth, and it is called traditional seitan or seitan or something like that. It's so weird because it sounds like I'm saying Satan, even though that's not really the case. For those of you that do not know what it is, it's basically like just bread made a certain way for it to taste like meat. I think what you do is you like make the bread crumbs or bread forms, and then you just put them into like vegetable broth, and it kind of gives it like this meaty flavor. That's what seitan is basically just bread with like just broth flavoring per se, which of course is just vegetable broth. It was pretty interesting, I'm not gonna lie. Something I probably wouldn't eat every day, simply because I've been a little bit careful with sodiums lately, so I've been a little bit careful with just mock meats generally. Not that I don't have to worry about it, but still. Another thing I had a chance to try out is by Love Crunch, and it is the dark chocolate and the red berries, which is pretty good. I've tried them in a granola form before and they were pretty good. And obviously trying them out in a cereal form, they're not too bad, honestly. Normally I'm not like a chocolate person or anything, but the only types of chocolate that I'll get into is dark chocolate. Is the only type of chocolate I'll have an appreciation for. Other than that, not so much other chocolates that I like too much. So another thing I also had a chance to try out, and this was a vegan brand actually. It is called the Suki's Potato Samosas, and basically, in case if you don't know what samosas are, they're basically like an Indian breaded dish, pretty much. You know how like when you enter into a Chinese restaurant and they have like these tiny things of crab rangoons? It's like that, only it's more of an Indian dish, and it's stuffed in with like some sort of like spices, and the only thing I taste from that was that it had like potatoes in it, and it had like some peas in it, and I think it had other various types of plants in there. I forget what they were, but it honestly tasted really good, and it came with like some sort of green sauce that was also pretty good as well. First time I actually tried an Indian related dish, and honestly, if I went back to Costco again, I wouldn't mind picking those babies up again because they're honestly really good. I probably wouldn't eat them every day simply because they're like high in oils and saturated fats, but still, they're good enough for me to enjoy at least once in a while. It's always good to treat yourself, right? And of course, speaking of Chinese food, There's like a new Chinese restaurant I had a chance to try out. Since being here into Texas, I haven't really found any good Chinese restaurants, or rather the fact that we didn't go out and had Chinese for a while, and we decided to look up for like a Chinese restaurant one day. And there was this place called Tang's Kitchen, and basically what I got from there was like steamed vegetables and spring rolls, which were pretty good. And honestly, and everything that they have in there was honestly pretty good, and I was very impressed, and I wouldn't mind going there for Chinese again because it's honestly pretty good. If you're looking for a really good Chinese restaurant in Houston, that would be the place for you to go ahead and try out. So the last thing I had a chance to try out this month, but most definitely not least, it is something I had a chance to make for dinner. And for those of you that do not know, my birthday was on May 23rd, so for my birthday I had a chance to make some butternut squash for the first time, and this was the first time I tried something out in generally, because I've never tried butternut squash before. And long before I became, you know, vegan, let alone vegetarian, I used to enjoy salmon so much, and I tried out a plant that was relatively similar to that taste. Well, I mean, it's not really similar, but similar in terms of like how sweet it is. I was easily impressed by butternut squash, that's for sure. I would definitely make butternut squash the same way as how I used to make salmon. First time trying out butternut squash, and automatically I loved eating that stuff so much. So those were the only types of foods I had a chance to try out this month. Everything I had a chance to try out, I was definitely easily pleased. So there wasn't hardly much items that I had a chance to try out this month, although there was like a new facial cleansing stuff I had a chance to try out this month that was actually a little bit different, and I believe I explained this in one of my older monthly favorites videos actually. I can't remember if I explained it into this year's monthly favorites videos or if it was last year. So basically there was this brand I had a chance to try out that year, or last year or whatever, and basically it's called Pacifica. And this baby right here, this one is known as Cactus Revive Milk to Foam Face Wash. And what's really nice about this product is obviously the packaging is pretty gorgeous and very colorful, if I may add. But what I like about this facial cleansing product is the fact that it's very soft and it's foamy on the skin, and moments later after like completely washing my face from this, to me it feels like I just got out of a facial, because using this product generally I feel like my skin has cleared out so much, and I feel like this works so much best for my skin. I highly recommend that you guys go ahead and give this a try, because I was really pleased with it. I love how soft it is. I love how foamy it feels on your face. I love how clean my face feels afterwards from washing this stuff with this. I've been loving their products lately. They are just, their products just work really well. Other than that, not much items that I had a chance to try out this month. So that is pretty much everything I had a chance to share for things that I have been loving for the month of May. I hope you guys enjoyed this video altogether. So if you did, be sure to sucker punch that like button down below. Comment down below as well. Let me know what has been your favorites for the whole entire month of May. And of course, if you're new here and if you haven't done so already, please do dedicate the time and effort to subscribe to my lovely channel, join my little army of darkness, and if you hit that notification button, you will be updated with brand new videos every single Friday. And if you guys are interested in following me outside of YouTube, all of my social medias will be listed in the description box right down below if you are indeed interested in checking them out yourself. So thank you guys so much for watching. Have a completely chill week, an awesome day or night, and I will talk to you all soon in the next video. So until then, stay completely dark and so fucking brutal and awesome, my friends. Take care. Bye for now.